Hey everybody, it's Horse Wonder Wednesday, and today we are talking about horse boards. So I thought that I was looking for one family horse and that had an amazing boarding facility to board at, but then I got a mare and foal, which makes boarding a little tricky, and we had to search for a boarding facility for a draft mare and her foal, as well as our pony Princess. And so I'm gonna talk about all the things that I learned along the way, researching facilities for boarding, as well as the tours that I took of different properties. So if you have been wondering things that you should be looking for when you're looking for a boarding facility, this is the Horse Wonder Wednesday episode for you. So Prince Charlie, we got him a binky because he's always chewing. Hey. He's always chewing on everything. Yeah. So this is a Kong dog binky, but he really enjoys chewing on it. And better that than on my jacket and my gloves. No. Enjoy that. Look at those little baby teeth. Look at the little baby teeth you've got, Charlie. Now, in my search for the best boarding facility I could find for my 3 horses, I did call 23 different boarding facilities looking for the right fit. The majority of them did not have availability or the facilities to house a mare and foal of this size. I did take tours of 5 horse farms that felt they did have the setup for these 2. So I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of each and why I ultimately chose the farm that we're at. Charlie, did you take off your mom's blanket strap? I gotta fix that quick. All right, let me have the binky back because you can't have that unsupervised. Yes, we don't want a choking hazard. Can I have it back, Charlie, please? Charlie, please, can I have the binky? Oh my gosh, you are so strong. Thank you. Stick that in my pocket for right now. I know, you're always messing with your mom's straps. Okay, so when it comes to a boarding facility, there's some things that I had to think about before I even started looking at boarding facilities, and that was, what are my top priorities that I'm looking for? So for me, with my horses, my top priorities, there were 6 items that for me were top priorities that I needed. Those 6 items were, first off, I needed to have a large enough stall or run-in shed for the mare and foal. It had to be ample in size so that they had enough room to get out of the elements and be able to lie down comfortably in it, and also a large enough turnout space where they would be able to have enough paddock space to run around, especially with a foal. A foal needs room to run around and get their energy out. And so that was really important, was finding a big enough space. With Princess being a smaller pony, she still needed enough turnout space, but a regular sized stall would be appropriate for her. It was the mare and foal that was more difficult to find a large enough space. My second priority was safety. So making sure that the fencing is appropriate and safe for these horses, especially with a foal, making sure that the baby was going to be able to be kept in the fencing, and also safety in regards to making sure that somebody was on site 24/7. So personally, I wanted a facility where the owner or somebody else would be living on site. Third priority is cleanliness. I wanted to make sure where my horses were staying that it was a clean environment for them. which goes along with safety, a nice, clean, safe environment. Number 4 was cost. I knew that having 3 horses, that I needed to keep my boarding costs lower, since I would be financially taking care of the medical needs of 3 horses as well as feeding them. So I had to be cognizant of the cost on the facility I chose. Another top priority is location. Wanted to make sure that I was within 30 minutes of where I was boarding my horses, 10 minutes being the ideal, because if there's an emergency, I want to be able to get there quickly. And then number 6, my last top priority was that the barn that I chose is family friendly. I do have 2 children, age 6 and 10, and I wanted to be sure that they would be welcome where I would be boarding my horses. Now, there are some things that I consider bonus amenities that would be nice to have, but is not a requirement. So one of those would be a wash stall, somewhere where I could wash the draft horse feather. So Queen has a lot of feather. Baby Charlie has a little bit of feather going on, but keeping up with the maintenance of that feather, it would be nice to have a wash stall where I could get them out of the mud and on, whether that be a concrete floor with a drain or stall mats with a drainage area that I could be able to wash their feather. An indoor arena is a bonus amenity to be able to ride in the winter. In Massachusetts, we can get some pretty snowy, cold winters, and having an indoor arena is a bonus, but definitely not necessary. Having a tack room is another bonus to be able to store your saddles on site, especially with 2 riding horses. Having tack for 2 horses, it's nice to have a tack room that you're able to utilize. A round pen is another bonus amenity, especially with having a colt. A round pen is a nice feature for training purposes. Another bonus feature would be trails. I do really enjoy trail riding. I think it's great for horses to be able to get out into the woods and explore nature and get out on the trails, and so that is a bonus amenity. And then the 6th bonus amenity would be if you had boarding options. So I was pretty sure going into it that I wanted to do rough board where I would take care of all my horses' needs. However, knowing that I'm a mother of 2. I have a busy schedule with kids' sports and running my own farm, my own business, and all the things that come with all of that. I knew that having boarding options, if rough board got to be too much or too difficult, that would be nice to have some flexibility. If I needed help with my 3 horses, if I couldn't make it in the morning to take care of them, that having some different boarding options or flexibility in the boarding situation would be an extra bonus. If you're watching this and you know of other top priorities that someone should be looking for in a boarding facility, definitely leave a comment down below, and that can help someone else that's looking for a boarding facility on things to look for or other bonus amenities. Now, when I talk about boarding options, I'm talking about like the different types of boarding, which they can have different names, and there's definitely a wide variety of services offered. You can do full board where your horse is completely taken care of. You do not have to be there every day. Their needs are being met, and you are paying top dollar to make sure that your horse's needs are met as far as being fed and bedding is provided. They have their stall or their run-in shelter in their paddock, and they are fed and turned out daily. All the way down to rough board, also known as self-care board, where you're expected to take care of everything. You're essentially just renting the stall and paddock or renting the run-in shelter and paddock. And then there's what's considered semi-rough, which is in between the two, and that can look different depending on the boarding facility. So that could look like the barn owner turns out and feeds your horses morning and night, but you go there and you take care of the paddock space, the stall, or the run-in shelter, and their water situation, and you provide the hay and the grain. And that can certainly vary depending on the boarding facility, and you pay accordingly. And so the price for each of these different boarding options definitely varies quite a bit. Even just here in Massachusetts, I found a wide range of prices for each of these boarding options, ranging from as low as $300 for rough board all the way up to $1,100 for full board, and that's per horse. So as I said, I went to look at 5 different horse properties, and then I had to assess what I thought met all of my top priorities and maybe throw in some bonus amenities to decide what was going to be the best fit for my horses. So we're going to talk about horse properties A through E. Horse property A that I went to go see was actually a co-op situation where it is rough board, where you're doing self-care, you're taking care of your animals, but you are rotating what days you are taking care of your animals with other people boarding their horses. So you could go there on Monday and you're responsible to take care of not only your horse, but the other horses at the facility as well. But then say on Tuesday, somebody else that has a horse boarding there would take care of your horses as well as everyone else's. And that way it was a rotational situation where all the horses were being taken care of, but it rotated on who was doing that. So that was $500 a month per horse for that situation. And for me, while the facility was large enough, it was safe, it was clean, the cost was affordable, the location was within 10 minutes of my house, it was family friendly, it did meet those top priorities, as well as having bonus amenities of an indoor ring, a tack room, a wash stall, as well as trails. The reason I did not go with that farm is because I would be relying on multiple other people to take care of my horses. And on the days that I was there taking care of my horses, I would also be responsible for taking care of other people's horses. A lot of responsibility in that, and I wasn't sure that that was something I was comfortable with taking on. So then Horse Farm B, beautiful facility, absolutely had all my top priorities and bonus amenities except for cost. The cost was out of my budget significantly. So then we go to option C, which was a family-owned home with a barn in the backyard. And this would be a self-care rough board situation where I would be going twice a day and taking care of my horses. Beautiful backyard. Safe, clean, large enough, meets needs, good location. However, when it comes to family friendly, while the owners are friendly, there are no other kids boarding there. We would be on our own as far as that. My children wouldn't have anyone else to ride with except ourselves. And my daughter, Calliope, really wanted other kids to be able to enjoy her horses with and ride with. And so even though it had the majority of the top priorities, it was not the social environment that we were looking for. So then Horse Barn D, another backyard barn, really nice situation, really nice owner who lived on site, but the run-in shelter that was provided unfortunately was not big enough for the mare and foal, so we would be looking at expanding that or building a separate structure, and with the time frame doing so just wasn't in the cards because we really wanted to get our draft horses here from South Carolina to Massachusetts. And so that situation, although the barn owner was really, really nice, just time frame wise that was not going to work. And then barn E, the last one we went to visit, turned out to be the one we chose. And so that was because it met all of our top priorities. And that's where we're boarding now, where we have the large run-in shelter for the mare and foal, which is more than big enough for them. They have a large turnout space and will have the option to go out into fields and pastures when the nicer weather is here. It was safe for our horses with electric fencing. The owner lives on site. It was very clean, well kept. The location being just 10 minutes from my house was perfect. It's a family-friendly environment where there's other kids that are riding there. And the barn owner is fantastic, very helpful, really nice. And the cost was within our budget. And then for bonus amenities, there is a wash stall, an indoor arena, a tack room, a round pen, trails, as well as boarding options. So the owner living on site has been so welcoming and let us know that if we ever need to change from a semi-rough board situation to a full board or anywhere in between that, if we needed days where we weren't able to make it, or we're taking a vacation, or wanted to do certain days where we didn't do a rough board situation, that we have options. And so that made me feel so much more comfortable moving forward with boarding our horses at that facility, and immediately knew that this was going to be the best place for us, which it's always nice when you find a place that checks off all of the boxes, including the bonus amenities. So I'm so thankful that we were able to find that, and our horses, Princess, Prince Charlie, and Queen, all seem very happy with the accommodations. And my kids are happy that there's other kids that go there and that there's access to trails. We've taken the horses out on the trails, and we've played in the indoor arena on pouring rainy days. And Prince Charlie definitely makes the most out of his paddock space, running around and enjoying stretching his legs. And I am looking forward to when they'll be able to go out in the pastures in the nicer weather in the spring and summer and get to really stretch their legs out there as well. So thank you for hanging out with us today. And if you haven't started your farm yet, what are you waiting for? Get your farm on. If you liked this video, if you could hit that like button down below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you should hit that subscribe button. And if you have already subscribed, thank you for supporting our channel. We really appreciate it.
1, 2, 3, 4. Do you want a farm? A wicked awesome farm? Watch this channel to learn what to do. We love to farm and